Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the continuation of Unit 4. This is the design process. Today, we're going to be talking about Lesson 5, which is feedback and testing. All right, so today, what we're going to do is we're going to get some feedback from the prototype, the paper prototype that we used in the last lesson. Remember the last lesson we had Text Your Grandkids was the paper prototype that we were working with? Well, right now, today, we're going to be working with a bunch of feedback that we got from various people. And we're going to take that feedback and we're going to use it to help make the paper prototype a better prototype before we actually design the app. And that is part of the process of the paper prototype and how it works with designing your final app. So today in this lesson, you're going to use the feedback from users of the paper prototype app from the previous lesson in order to develop improvements. Okay, this lesson begins with a reflection of the fact that designers need to translate human needs with technology into changes for the user interface and experience. Students will then be given a collection of feedback and requests from users of the app from the previous lesson. Okay, in groups with your group, which you don't have a group, you'll be working by yourself. You're going to go ahead and come up with some ideas for improvements of the app. Okay, so the overview says that users have been testing an app and they have lots of feedback for the developer. The class needs to sort through all of this feedback, identify the common themes and needs, and start revising the prototype to make it better to meet the user's needs. Okay, so what we're going to be using today is make sure that you do go to your advisor and get your activity guide as well as the comments from people who have tested the app and worked with the paper prototype, and then your activity guide that you're going to be filling out. So the first one is to remember this is what our paper prototype looked like originally. Okay, Text Your Grandkids. There were 6 pages to it, and if you don't remember that, here's a copy of it. You can kind of look at it again before we go into it. Now, here are the ideas that we got, or I should say reflections, from our different users. And these were comments that were made concerning the app. Okay, I'm going to go over a couple of them with you, and then I want you to go ahead and spend some time, go through them all. If you need to cut them up and kind of place them into different categories, some of them mean the same thing as others. Some of them are duplicates, but what we need to do is categorize them into categories that we can separate. Okay, so that's what I want you to do first of all. If you need to cut them up, or you just can mark on that page, whatever you decide to do. So go ahead and spend some time doing that. Like number 1, I'm having a hard time figuring out how to add my grandkids to this app. Seems like it'll be really useful, but I've been clicking around and can't seem to find it. Okay, so there's one comment. Okay, is there any way to zoom in on the app? Number 3, how do I add grandkids to the app? So I want you to go ahead and take a few minutes and put them into categories. Kind of, like I said, a lot of them mean the same thing. Just kind of group them together so that you come up with one for each, okay? And then we will jump over to this activity guide here, okay? So go ahead and do that. Spend a few minutes doing that, and I'll get back to you in a couple minutes. Okay, now that you've grouped them up, I want you to go over and pull out the activity guide. Activity guide, improve a screen, potential improvements. So using the feedback you categorized in the last activity, what improvements could your group make or you make to the app? For each improvement, identify each category of feedback you are addressing. Okay, so go ahead and spend some time doing that, and I'll give you an example of what we're looking for. All right, so let's say, for instance, proposed improvement. We might say, based on all of the information that we got for our feedback, allow users to add more grandchildren and allow items to edit the information for the grandchildren. Okay, so that might be one proposed improvement. So go ahead and spend a few minutes doing that, and then I will come back and give you some ideas that I have, and that'll be the conclusion of this lesson. It's a real short lesson today, so go ahead and spend some time doing that, and I will get back to you in just a moment. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to jump right over to my ideas that I had here, or the ideas that I have listed. Okay, so here's some potential improvements, okay? So the proposed improvements might be, again, allow users to add more grandchildren and allow them to edit the information for their grandchildren. Also, add a home button to every screen. That's one thing you want to make sure that you can do. When you go and you make an app, make sure that you can navigate between screens. You don't want to have to go back to one home screen to get to another page. So always remember that. It's kind of a nice avenue to follow when you're building your apps. Also, to go from screen to screen. It's always nice to go from maybe one grandkid to another. You don't have to, but that's just an idea that I had. Add a home button to every screen. Okay. Change the name of the app. Okay. That is a long name. It could just be text grandkids or grandkids, whatever you decide you want to do with it. But come up with a different name. Change the app, name of the app. Also can change the text size in the setting of the app. Yeah, change the text size. Remember, grandparents can't always see things like many other people, younger people. So it might be a good idea to change the app. Or change the size. I know that my daughters change the size of my phone all the time. Dad, can't you read that? Can't you see that? And I have to look at them and say, yeah, I can see it. But they somehow always want to change the size of my app. Also, the feedback address. Okay, we added and changed grandchildren's information. Make it easier to get back home without all the steps to get back home. Yeah. The other one was change the app name. Would make it easier to find the app to download. And also the last one can change the text size in the setting of the app. People who have trouble reading and seeing it would have a better time. Okay, so those are just some ideas. I hope you came up with many more. There's an unlimited ideas that you can put into this app to make it better. And that was the whole idea of this particular lesson. Improvements for your app. Make it better for the user. And that's what your ultimate goal will be and is to always make an app that is user-friendly, constantly making improvements on it, because if you look at today's apps, there's always improvements on it, extensions put on it. There's always something going on with the app to make it a better app. So, all right, that concludes today's lesson. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again in lesson 6. So come back and see me in lesson 6. See you later. Have a good day.